You up? It's time for some coffee. Hot, bold, and full of flavor. Tonya McKenzie and Gia Sneed are my morning coffee.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of My Morning Coffee, where the conversation is always hot, bold, and full of flavor. It's Monday. I am drinking coffee. I don't know what G is drinking because she's out in Atlanta right now. So she might be on happy hour, but we're here. We're
No,
live.
I'm not on happy hour. I'm drinking actually some watermelon juice, my favorite. So yeah, 'cause I
It might
already
be a
had my coffee
watermelon
earlier.
cooler.
Yeah, earlier this morning. See, I'm only a 1 cup person, so I already had coffee. So I was like, oh shoot, I'm gonna be on later today. So I decided to get some like my cup, some
I
watermelon.
do. It's cute. It is cute. Well, listen, we have a pretty hot show for you today. We're going to be talking about sex in a various
Ooh,
different, in various different ways.
okay.
Not everyone enjoys it. Not everyone is comfortable talking about it. Not everyone knows what they can do to self pleasure. Uh, we have our expert in the house
That's a whole
again,
that's
Miss.
that one right there is a whole nother
I
podcast.
mean, we're
Self
gonna have to
pleasure.
get into
That's a
it.
whole
We have
that's a whole nother one. But
we
we're gonna get into some of that, I guess, today
we
too.
do.
So yeah.
We are. But before we do that, let's talk about what's brewing in them streets. What's been going on with you, Gia? Give us a quick rundown and let the people know where you're at and what you've been up to.
Uh, hey y'all. I'm out here in what they call hot Atlanta, I guess. Yeah, but I'm in Georgia. Actually, I'm in Fayetteville, hanging out for I'll be back though this week, back in LA, Yeah, haven't been up to too much or nothing, just jumped on a plane, came here real quick. Actually, because my sister, she bought me a ticket to come visit her. So me and Ella got on a plane and we came and we've been here. Ella's been enjoying herself. She's been running around in the yard, lounging, like she paid a mortgage and stuff, just living her best life. But while I've been here, I had a little accident. I fell down the stairs. So I was kind of laid up for a few days because I hurt my leg. But no, I didn't go to urgent care or anything like that, emergency. I just been trying to rest it, but it's sore. So I have, I'm a little trouble walking a little bit, but I think just with rest, I'll be all right in a matter of days. That's pretty much it. You know, just getting stuff together here. But that's all.
Sounds
I
good.
don't know what's going on here in Atlanta because I haven't really been out in the streets too much since I've been here. But my plan is to, when I come back, to actually get out in the streets. Happening in the state of Georgia and in the city of Atlanta and the surrounding areas. A lot of things I've been seeing on social media that take place out here in Atlanta. So I plan to get myself kind of involved and get out and be amongst the people. See how that goes. But yeah, that's it.
Love
What
that.
have you been up to? You know.
Same stuff,
Oh, I know.
kids, sports.
I painted my hair,
Actually,
y'all.
I I like it. I really like it. And she did it
Yeah,
herself. I didn't even know she knew how to
yeah.
do hair, but okay, I digress. One of the things that I've been enjoying doing is participating in putting Gia's retirement party together. So I do want to say, though, let me be very clear. While we've been meeting and talking about your gathering, I had to step in along with your husband and let the group know because they thought it would be nice to get your input. And I was like, absolutely not.
Well,
We need her to we need her
I think that the people who say
we need her to go sit down somewhere and allow for us to I put her on mute and allow for us to go ahead and put something together for her. allow for us to show her how much we appreciate her and her service, and let her go sit her big booty Judy down somewhere because it's time. She worked 30 years for LA County Sheriff Department. She retired as a lieutenant. It's okay for her to take a back seat and just let people do that. I know as women, Black women, independent women, Taurus women, stubborn women, we have a hard time asking for help and allowing for people to just give us our flowers. But I'm not really giving her a choice this time. So, she'll just have to show up and
Listen,
what it do.
listen, people.
Don't
Listen,
get put
my
on mute
friends
again,
that are
okay?
on the committee, the people that are on the committee, other than Tonya and Jeff, you guys, whoever you are, don't listen to Tonya and Jeff.
Whoever you are.
Y'all, reach out to us, okay? Because I do have some things that I would like.
We got that. We got it. We got it.
So
So,
yeah, watch
on that
Tonya
note,
and Jeff. Watch Tonya and Jeff because they are both of them together are like super bullies. Okay, super bullies.
We got this, y'all. Don't worry about it.
See what I mean? But yeah.
Yes, I love it. He is my partner, my new partner in crime. I can appreciate Mr. Sneed. And I know you said you haven't been in the streets, but every time I see pictures, y'all out in the streets in Atlanta. So I don't know if you're being modest or what that's all about, or not trying to make me feel bad because I am not in the streets. But every time I see y'all be in the streets. But we'll get into that later. One thing I do want to talk about, though, is Gia don't be watching a lot of TV unless we give her some instructions. And we never had an opportunity to jump into the Chris Rock comedy special. So I do want to get your thoughts on it, since you did finally take the time to watch it. What did you think?
Yeah, I watched it. And it was okay. It's far as a comedy show, I've seen better. I've actually seen better from Chris. So but it was okay. Me personally, I was kind of like moving past the whole him and Will type thing. And people, for me, it's like, get on with your life, okay? And when the show to me was just like, now you're getting ready to stir up more stuff, and a lot of people have probably gotten over it and moving forward. He's trying to move forward, and then he so many things, and now you kind of bring it back up, and now people are talking about it again. At the end of the day, who really cares, about what happens in other people's lives other than their own, to me, honestly. And I just wish if he was going to do it, he should have did it sooner. And I know it's really about money, but my whole thing is, I ain't gonna wait a whole year, 2 years. If you assault me, I ain't gonna wait a whole 1 or 2 years to get back at you. I'm riding really rather quickly and soon, and because at a year from now, it ain't gonna be the same. My get back at you ain't gonna be the same as it would have been, right when it happened. So still, and that's kind of like how the comedy thing was. Yeah, your get back it was all right, but it wasn't. It could have been a lot better if you would have went on and got your get back early on. And then I guess my thing is, I felt as though the issue was between Will and Chris, but for whatever reason, he wants to keep bringing Jada in, and that's the issue I have. It's like, Will is the one, slaps you, and and the slap to me wasn't even that hard. So all the people talking about he was a soft please. That was like a love tap, if you ask me. So yeah, and then his jokes, they were okay. Some of them I was kind of like, okay, really, we going here, but other than that, okay, he did it. Now can we all move on, people? Can we move on and get on to something else? That's my
Auntie just want to move on. Sounds good. We'll just move on.
What was your take on it? Because you was like, gee, you gotta watch it. She kind of threatened me too, and stuff. But
I enjoyed it, but I'm petty, so I like to laugh. There was some parts of it that really had me laughing, like the parts about the spoiled ass kids. That was funny.
That part, yeah, because look, y'all do be having some spoiled ass kids out there. So That part.
So we had that, right? Okay, that was funny. There was a few things that were funny to me just because I'm petty and I'm petty minded sometimes. So I thought it was funny. I thought it was a good strategy though for him to. He didn't address it until the end. He really didn't address it until the end, and that part wasn't even funny to me. He was just literally letting off. So for me, the rest of the show was funny, and the end was him more releasing what he had been holding for a year. So I looked at it a little different. It was,
and then I heard, I guess, because I watched it, but I didn't watch it like attentively, right? So then they were saying, I guess the next day on Twitter somewhere, they were saying that Chris was, called Jada out her name and stuff like that. And if that's the case, that's what I don't agree with. You could be mad at them or both of them, but see, come on now, don't be calling, no woman, especially no black woman, out their name. We got enough going on. Enough people, are riding against us and stuff. So I didn't like that. If that is the case, that's the part I didn't like. It's like enough's enough.
What I did. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest. I used to love Jada.
Mm-hmm.
I have over time. I wince at her a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really weird to me that her daughter writes letters to Tupac, and he's been dead before the daughter was born. I am a married woman of over 21 years. So some of the things, so I don't get into it, but I do find it comical that there's a relationship that has gone on. This whole saga of the Will, Chris, Jada situation, there's something there that the rest of us maybe never will know about.
Exactly.
I've learned about, trying to make judgment about other people's relationships, but there was a time where I would have been like, leave Jada out of this. But I have a feeling that she has a bigger part in this than even he has revealed. And that's the part of me where I'm going to, if it's a joke, I'm going to laugh. And the rest of it, I'm going to stay out of, because there have been some things where, as a married woman, I have a daughter. I can't imagine her writing a letter to an ex-boyfriend or something, you know what I'm saying? Like, about how happy mom was.
But also too,
it's weird.
But also too, you're different. You're regular and you're raising your kids, regularly. Let all these people that are in entertainment business and all that stuff. I think they're different. That's the bottom line. They're different.
That's my problem, though. But that's my problem.
Yeah.
There's certain things about the culture that isn't different. Like, there's certain things that just we are different. So don't start doing all this weird shit and then think we're not supposed to look at you sideways.
Well, that's what
you don't see Angela Bassett and her husband raising their twins some kind of freakish, weird Hollywood way. We still are a part of a culture. We still represent our people. So you out there, that's weird.
Don't see it. See, that again, Tonya. Again, we're saying that because we don't see it. We don't know that. We don't know if that's going on or not because we don't see it.
So, but don't forget, Jada brought it. Yeah. Jada brought it to us. She brought us into her sex life on her show. We didn't need to know all that.
But again, okay, I might just like you might break my in, but okay, my thing is okay. What happened with them has happened with other people too. Okay, so there's no different. But the only difference is, okay, she had a talk show and she wanted to have a segment on her talk show about it. Okay, and a lot of people do that. They have a platform, so now they're gonna air it out. But again, all parties agreed to come on there and just talk about it, discuss it. So, and I guess in their mind, she was trying to be transparent, but I don't think she would have discussed it if Homeboy wouldn't have wrote whatever he did. Well, did he write a book or something or start talking about it? I think if it wasn't for that, we probably still wouldn't have known. But he put something out there, and I guess she called herself, and maybe her publicist, I don't know, because you the PR guru and all these people was trying to tell her to get in front of it and hey, go on the show and y'all talk about it and stuff like that, which they did, and that's their business. Okay. And okay, so I looked at it, they did it, and let's move on. I don't want to keep talking about, the entanglement with her and some young dude. Okay, so what? There's a lot of cougars out there messing around with young dudes. Okay, so it's just they ain't on the Red Table Talk or My Morning Coffee Show or any other podcast talking about it, but they doing it. And it's just like it's some old cats out there, having things with some young girls, and they ain't on no talk show talking about it. But it's like they just chose to do it. And I guess what I'm saying is we need to let some stuff go. Okay, it was out there. We got to talk about it. Okay, let's go on. But again, we never will. It's like Jeff and I was talking, and he had showed me an article about a guy who won, I think, an Oscar years ago, and he passed away recently. But instead of them talking about the good part of the guy, he did something. They put that in the media, and that's what we said about Will that night. People are gonna, remember the bad, and they're not gonna remember what a good actor Will Smith is. They're gonna remember this little side piece thing that that happened, and it happens. People snap. People, all the time. People that you say, "Oh, I didn't know they would do something like that," and they do it. There again, we don't know people like we think we know people, and I don't know none of these people that are in the entertainment business because, I don't know them personally. I just know what they put out to the public for me to see. I don't know him. I don't know Will personally. I don't know Jada personally. They ain't been over my house having, bacon and eggs with me or any of that kind of stuff. So I don't really know him. I like him.
And there's Jada. There's your Jada.
I'm a Jada fan. But again, even when she did the Red Table Talk, I was like, "Ooh, girl, really?" But hey, they're about making the money. If that makes money, they do it. I've learned that. So that's what they did. I'm sure they got paid a whole lot, that whole segment and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, who won? We up here having debates. Everybody having debates about, oh, Jada shouldn't have had him do that. Jada shouldn't have did that. Will should have did that. At the end of the day, guess what? They got paid, and we sitting up here trying to worrying if we got enough money to keep the lights on, pay the gas bill because gas prices went up. That's what I'm saying. We get caught up in the wrong stuff sometimes. It's like, really? Okay, I don't care.
I still think it's weird to be infatuated over a man that's been gone for a while and you're married to one.
It's weird.
That is freaking weird.
Right.
They were not married. They were not together when he died, and she keeps acting like they were not. They had not been. No. And her daughter's writing letters to him. That's weird. So you be a Jada fan. I'm still a Tupac fan.
Yeah, and it's people that's writing letters to the ex this day. That's with other people right now. So we need a therapist
to talk about it because it's weird. It's fucking weird. All right. So listen, done with that.
Yeah,
we're so over it. But what we're not done with, and maybe we can talk to her about this, is, man, the infatuation with younger people, much younger people, from individuals that are in their prime, trying to love on these young folk. I don't know if that's a thing, if it should be a thing, and all things sex. Let's bring on our expert, who we haven't had for a while, but always happy to have back, Miss Tiffany Yelverton. How you doing?
Hey, great. Hey, how are you?
Awesome. So listen, let the people that may not have experienced you the first time know what you do, how you came to do it, and what you have going on right now, because I'm excited about some things you have going on, sister.
I am Tiffany Yelverton. I'm the founder and chief sexinista for Entice Me and Sexy Survivors. And I help people have better sex, especially women. I help you to love your bodies that you have right now, step into your sexual power, and have the orgasms of your dreams.
Orgasms of your dreams. So what are they having nightmares when they come to you? Like what are
a lot of women have never had an orgasm. A lot of women who come to me are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, even sometimes 70s, and never had an orgasm.
Tiffany, stop lying. Somebody has come to you and said, it's never happened for me. And when they do, what is your initial response? Like, how do you even break that down?
Well, it's more common than you think. Probably at least one woman a week comes to me and says that they've never had an orgasm. So Statistically, it's about 11% of the population, but I just say, you're not alone. A lot of women have never had an orgasm, and we can get you there because your body can have an orgasm. And usually there's some blocks or some emotional components, hormonal components, physical components that have been blocking that in your life, and we can get there. I teach a 12-week course on how to get there.
So Tiffany, when they come to you, are they coming to you because they can't have an orgasm? Or are they coming to you for another reason, and that comes out during you guys' session?
It can be both.
Okay.
For example, one of my clients I present in a coaching group, and I talk a lot about the correlation of self-pleasure and the money gap and pay gap. And we were just talking about that. And she opened up and said that at 44, she'd never had an orgasm. And she was really angry about it because she didn't even know that she was missing that. She just thought that her partner wasn't pleasuring her enough.
Wow.
Okay, so let's say things have been going well. You were someone that used to orgasm often. Mm-hmm. And now in your later stages of life, you don't anymore. I'm assuming there are also women that come to you and say, something has gone wrong. Can you help me figure that out? What do you usually find? What are some of the more common issues that you find that have stalled what used to be something that was relatively easy?
Absolutely. That's probably what women come to me most for, is that they've had great sex in the past, or they've had plenty of pleasure, but it's changed. And a lot of it starts with hormones, and also just our bodies change. Our hormones fluctuate as women every single day of the month. And so one day you might have more testosterone than another day. Also, I call it the orgasm trifecta, because it's usually not one thing or another. It's usually a combination. Pelvic floor tone impacts orgasms. So does, being in your head and thinking like, oh, I have to have this orgasm, and then not focusing on and being present in the moment is a lot of times. But hormones, a loss of attraction to a partner, many things can contribute.
Okay, I need you to go a little deeper. So someone comes to you and says, it's not working for me anymore. And you have this conversation with them to whittle down to the actual cause. When it is loss of attraction for a partner, then what is your advice? What is your guidance there?
Well, I want to find out if they are in a healthy relationship. A lot of times resentments are built up over time, and so that can attribute to loss of attraction because of resentment and stress in a relationship. So I want to make sure that they want to stay in that relationship, but also to find out, what's going on, and to remind them of what they did love about their partner in the past and why those things have come up that have held them, keeping them stuck in the moment. Maybe that their partner has gained a little bit of weight, or the partner has lost their job and is no longer contributing. We can work through those things and figure out what we can do to change the perception of what's going on. And I use EFT, which is tapping, and to remove a lot of, it's emotional freedom technique. It's one of the modalities that I use. It's tapping out past blocks, limiting beliefs, traumas, even generational traumas, because a lot of our trauma response is held in our cells, not just in our memory. And so breaking through and moving past those and clearing them out makes a huge difference in my couples.
I don't think a lot of people recognize that trauma and unresolved trauma can have a solid effect on their love life. Go into that a little bit more for the audience, for individuals that may be dealing with sexual displeasure, but also unresolved trauma, and how do they even begin to recognize that that's what it could possibly be?
I really work with them to realize, to help them bring that out, because they, a lot of times, like you said, don't recognize it. And so finding out what their triggers are of, when did you enjoy sex? What do you enjoy? What do you not enjoy about it? And what is really important to know is that our cells hold all these memories that we may not even have known have happened. And we think it's just, oh, I can get over that in my brain. I can consciously, why am I, this is happening? But until you clear it out from the cellular level, it really impacts your life. And it can be, PTSD can be in many, many different forms in your body, but also from many different activities. If you have guilt for being sexual or for enjoying sex, many women have been told for thousands of years that we shouldn't enjoy pleasure, that our bodies are just for procreation or just for someone else's pleasure. And those memories are held in our bodies. And so even though consciously we think, oh, I shouldn't be enjoying this, I'm having a good time, this could feel good, but the overriding guilt holds us back.
Does religion play a part in that? Has
yes.
that ever come up in your conversations with clients?
Absolutely.
Talk to me about that.
Religion, what most people don't realize is what we're taught religiously from the pulpit is not actually in any book of God. And whatever your beliefs are, these are books that are written by the patriarchy. And what most people preach from the pulpit isn't actually in the book. It's a way to hold back women's power, because sex is power and pleasure is power.
Tiffany, you had mentioned something about couples. So is majority of your work, do you deal a lot with couples, or do you just deal mainly with just individuals and mainly women?
It's about half and half.
Half and half. So when the couples come to you, is it more so, is it the woman that's having the problem or the issue, or is it the man, or is it both? Which one?
Lately it used to be, so I've been in business 12 years. It used to be that men were like, oh, my wife doesn't want to have sex anymore. But now it's really shifted in the last few years that more and more women in their 40s, 50s, 60s is pretty much my demographic that I work with, my age group, that women are like, my husband doesn't want to have as much sex as I want to have. I'm in my prime and this isn't working for me. So I've actually helped a lot of couples open up their relationships and to have multiple partners and have a thriving, keep their marriage intact.
Now, see, Tiffany, when you said women coming and say their husband don't like them and stuff, most people probably think, oh, he messing around, he doing something with somebody else, that's why he doesn't have sex with you. But that's not always the case.
That is not always the case.
Yeah.
There is sexual dysfunction in men is highly prevalent. We have a society that is really focused on porn and visualization. Plus I'm seeing a lot of young men have sexual dysfunction because they've been using Viagra for so many years that they just thought that it would make them harder and stronger and more erect in their 20s and 30s. And now they're in their 40s and 50s and they're having problems getting erections. And
so the blue pill is making them have problems as they get older, when they start using the blue pill when they were younger. Yes. They shouldn't have been using it when they were younger, right. Probably. And oh my goodness, wow! I didn't know that was a thing, but I guess it is a thing, huh? So yeah, okay. So let's talk. Can you talk more about the hormonal changes that we women go through Because I think a lot of our viewers are at that point. They're at that stage where they're going through the change, and their bodies are changing, but other things are changing too, out of their control. And some people don't want to take anything. I know doctors will always talk about, taking certain things to help you get through this whole menopause things. And you got people that are you familiar with, I think it's called the pellet?
Mm-hmm. I have my pellets.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get into that pellet, because I hear more people talking about that pellet, and girl, you need to get the pellet. The pellet is the best thing since sliced bread. I got the pellet, and my sex drive is, I'm like all over him. I can't get enough and all that kind of stuff. So let's talk about this pellet, because I don't think everybody knows about the pellet, and the doctors are not talking about the pellet the way I hear, my friends and other people talking about the pellet. So let's talk. Is there a pellet and there's something else that the doctors are talking about? What?
So I do bioidentical hormones. I highly suggest, we can have Dr. Gail Jackson on your show. She's one of my colleagues, and the bioidentical pellets are made from yam. They're inserted under your skin. They dissolve over for about 4 months, and it regulates for me, I do a little bit of estrogen and testosterone. And because they're not offered by conventional Western medicine, typically, your doctors probably aren't going to talk about it, because they can't really they don't do that kind of menopausal medicine. It's more functional medicine. It's more holistic. And, when we go, for example, when you go to your doctor and get your testosterone tested, if they even do that, they'll say, oh, it's in normal range. Well, that's normal for your age group, possibly, but it's not optimal for your life. For example, when I first went in to get my testosterone checked, it was at a 9, and optimal, my doctor likes to have me at like 150. And so it isn't just about your sex drive. Yes, that definitely helps, but it's about your skin texture. It's about the resiliency of your vaginal tissue, the viscosity. Estrogen helps with vaginal moisture, helps with all kinds of things that are unrelated to sex, but really affect our health.
So let's talk about, because I didn't know, that's new to me, about being tested for your testosterone. Because I go every year for my little annual checkup and all that kind of stuff. And I'm trying to think. I don't think my doctor's ever mentioned anything about a test for your testosterone levels. And that's interesting. So I know when I go back this year, I'm going to ask her, "Hey, doc, what's up? Can you test the sister, so I kind of know what's going on, where I'm at, because I need to know."
Yeah, and they'll test men and give men testosterone to up their sex drive and health, but women were just left out of the conversation a lot of times.
Okay.
Tiff, talk to me about someone or couples that, yeah, they have sex, things are fine, but they want a little more. They might start getting a little bored, or they just don't want to get bored. I read, so I'm going to find something to keep it interesting. But for those that are just like, okay, this is fine. Yes, I'm still attracted to my spouse, but I mean, it's okay. What are some of the things that you talk to them about to make it a little more than just okay? Because I know people probably have a hard time saying, it's good, it's cool, he puts me to sleep at night, but they want to be in a full-on coma. So give them some of the Tiffany Yelverton information that lets them know it's cool to come to me for a little more, and this is what I can help you with.
We don't eat the same food every day or every meal, but we expect that sex should just be the same all the time. So change it up. I love to teach couples new techniques, adding toys, adding products. I think of sex toys as like a necklace it's an accessory to your bedroom, like necklace is an accessory to your outfit. It just makes everything just better. I think that, the word fine or okay is kind of the new, fine is the new 4-letter word, because why are you settling for something that could be better? It can always improve. And it starts with communication and just asking. One question you can ask is, what would make sex better? If you could just wave a magic wand, what would you want?
I mean, that sounds good, but let's be honest. If there's a woman that asks her husband, so what would make sex better, then he's gonna think it's bad, and she's not gonna ask because she don't want him to have no issues about it.
Or he might, but also he might say what makes it better, and she might not like what he says. What makes it better.
And I think starting those conversations with prefacing it is like, nothing, just to let you know, nothing is wrong with what we have going on. I'm just curious, what are some of your fantasies, or what would you like to try that maybe we haven't? And just because you want it to be better doesn't mean that something is wrong with it right now.
Right.
And I think that's like in any area of our life, just because my sandwich is good, well, what if I put this kind of aioli on it or whatever? It could make it better. And in bedroom, a lot of times we settle for it just being good enough because we don't know how to talk about it. We don't.
That part, we don't. And like you said, the key word you said, you could phrase it, what's your fantasy? And we all know when you ask, I'm gonna say either party, that word, what's your fantasy? You're gonna get some wild responses, okay, to people's fantasy. And I think most of the response, I don't think either party is gonna be like, what? For example, most of the time you ask a man what's his fantasy, he's gonna say, oh, having 2 women at the same time, right? So then so most women be like, boy, bye, so, a lot of times, like, that kind of thing. And then sometimes that could be a fantasy for a woman too, oh, I want to have 2 men. And then the husbands will be like, wait a minute, where'd that come from? We've been married all this time, it could be good, but also it could be bad.
Well, and looking at fantasies as they can stay a fantasy, that doesn't mean that you have to do it, but have fun entertaining it. Like, what would that look like? And then a lot of time I send couples out when they're thinking about this, or one person has an interest, like, just sit at the bar and like pick people out for each other and just have fun with it. We get so serious that
Tiffany, girl. Yeah. That sounds good. But see, some people, you know what? It starts off, okay, we gonna agree, we gonna do this, and then somebody gonna pick somebody that look way different than they partner, and then now it's a long ride home, because now you like, oh, so you liked her, huh? So then now we got a whole self-esteem thing going on, or he'll be like, oh, so you like him, huh? And then his whole self-esteem is off now. That could backfire too. It's fun. I might do that because I think that's a fun thing to do.
Well, it starts with knowing yourself enough to know that you're confident enough in your relationship and that you trust your partner.
Has toxic masculinity come up in any of these conversations that you have had? I've heard toxic femininity at this point. So what are some of the key terms that come up continuously in your practice?
I don't know. I don't talk a lot about toxic masculinity because I think it's more of an overall arching theme rather than just, there are definitely toxic men, but I think most men want to do good and be good. And so I try not to use labeling terms like that, but just, I would say some of the most common themes are, painful sex, not interested in my partner, loss of libido. Those are more the things that come up for me and my clients.
So I heard you have a trip coming up. let the audience know what kind of fun they can have with Tiffany and how they can get involved.
So I do a retreat in Aruba for women every year. It's really empowering and taking you away to a place where you have to really put yourself first. You have to say yes to yourself to even get there, and you're taken away from your everyday life so that you can really tap into who you are as a woman, tap into into pleasure and self-pleasure and loving yourself, and so that you can be the best at everything else in your life. And I'm doing it. It's actually in 2 weeks in Aruba, and you can reach out to me on Facebook's probably the easiest. It's Tiffany.Yelverton, and I can give you all the details. And if that's too soon, I do it next year in June. And then I did add a couples retreat this year. It's on October in Mexico also.
Tell us what that actually looks like. So we spend how many days, and how do you get us to engage in a level of self-pleasure that we leave the trip better than we came?
So I really go into exploring the 5 senses and tapping into those. One of the activities that we do that is our kind of big signature event is a blindfolded dinner. And so learning to use your senses in new ways and learning to really, smell and feel. And we do a lot of, just self-touch, just starting with touching your arms and your face. So many times we do that in our day. We put our lotion on, we do our makeup, we do our hair, but we forget to feel our bodies and to just tap into all of the senses and to make sure that you're scheduling your time for you and taking those. We put everybody else first as women, right? Typically, and we forget to take care of ourselves. And just even a few hours a week, you can really get back into who you are. And I do all these, I have a plethora of activities that I do with the women to really make them feel sensual in their own bodies. We do a empowering photo shoot on the beach. And last year when we did it, it was so fantastic because people were stopping their cars and going, "Are you shooting for a magazine?" And the women were saying that they felt beautiful. One of my ladies was 67 and she said she felt sexy for the very first time in her life. It's in a house, so it's in a villa, so it's not like you're not coming and going. You're creating this energy with like-minded women that creates its own whole other being and body.
How many days?
It's 7 days, 6 days, 7 nights.
You said something about feeling and touching and learning to really appreciate you and your body and your senses. Talk to me really quick about self-pleasure, because that has its own stigma. However, it may be necessary. So is part of you teaching people how to touch and love on themselves also kind of a gateway into self-pleasure? Has that been difficult to get people to understand and participate in? Like, talk us through it.
It's so important. It is the key to a happy life, I think. Men learn about self-pleasure. They aren't shamed for it. They're celebrated for it in their teen years. And young women don't ever learn about that. We learn the consequences that are going to come. But when we when we take time to learn our body, what it looks like, what it feels like, it's so much easier to communicate your wants and needs to a partner. Because if you don't know how to make yourself feel good, then how can you ever tell someone else how to make you feel good? And I think that is really a huge piece. And what a lot of people don't realize also is that the gender wage gap is almost the same as the pleasure gap. So men masturbate about 37% more than women, 23 to 37% more. And if you look at the gender wage gap, that's 21 to 35 cents on every dollar. And because when you self-pleasure, instead of those hormones and oxytocin and all the endorphins, instead of those creating a bond with someone else, they create self-love for you. Those chemicals help to overcome body shame, body image issues, and you're happier. Women who masturbate once a week versus once a month, it's like giving yourself a $50,000 a year raise.
Yeah. So women, y'all start touching yourselves and self-pleasuring, because it's a wonderful thing, you know. And
it is.
For all you women who are not having those orgasms, you might start having them if you do some little self-pleasuring, you know, and stuff. I'm just saying, you know, I'm not Tiffany. I ain't been in this business for 12 years and stuff, but you know, I'm just saying.
Just saying. Well, Miss Tiffany, thank you for being here again. I am excited to hear more about your trip this year, the couples trip. And hopefully we'll have some folks that watch this that if they're not going this year, they'll be able to go. I think you said you had one spot left for this year.
I do have one spot left for this year. And if you're looking at 2024, we can do an extended payment plan over the next 13 months so that you can get it all taken care of.
Can you say how much is the trip?
Yes, it's $10,000 for a private room, and it's a oceanfront view private suite, and it's all inclusive. Once you get off your airplane in Aruba, we take care of absolutely everything, and it is amazing.
You guys, I've seen some of the videos and pictures from her previous trips, and it looks like it'll be well worth that price. And I'm for real.
Then clearly you come back happier than you left. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's a little investment in self.
Yeah, can't put a price tag on that happiness, girl. So y'all better get a hold of me and get on that plane to Aruba.
Make it happen. Thank you, Miss Tiffany, for being here.
Thank you for having me, ladies. Great to see you again.
Talk to you soon. Well, what'd you think?
I think
she's like, I need $10,000.
He worked it. You know, they got to get out there. They got to get in touch with themselves.
Oh, no, you're the comedian. Okay.
Yeah, but no, it was. I always like having Tiffany. I wanted to mention one of like our first guests when we first started the podcast. I think she was our first guest.
I think she was
when we started this. Yeah, this thing called podcasting. A few years ago. Yeah. So it was good to see her and have her back. It's always.
She looked all voluptuous and sexy. So
sex. Come on in. I had a surprise for you, Tonya, but she was a little late getting here, but I wanted her to be on the show. Miss Shakita's in the house, and but she was out. She had to talk, work. She had to talk a little bit work, so she couldn't get in here a lot sooner. But I wanted to surprise, and she could have chimed in on our topic today. With the sex therapist and stuff.
The sex
yes, you missed it, girl. You missed it.
Sex in my life, so I missed that conversation. Dang.
Well, you missed it, but you can always catch the replay on Apple Podcasts and where else is it streaming at, Tonya? Besides Apple,
Spotify, iHeart, Amazon, everywhere.
Amazon.
You need a podcast in your life, you can find us. We are very accessible.
I'm about that podcast life, so I'll tune in.
Well, make sure you catch the replay. And for anybody else out there, go ahead and subscribe to My Morning Coffee. You can also subscribe to our Facebook page because we be leaving stuff on there that you're not going to get on the podcast. Or you can follow us on Instagram, My Morning Coffee Drip, and keep up with what's brewing in the streets with me and Gia. Mm-hmm. But make sure you subscribe because we be having dope people on the show like Miss Tiffany Yelverton, and you let us know what you think.
We always have surprise guests. Like today we have Miss Shakita. No, Miss Shakita.
Hi, I'm Shakita Cheney. I am a longtime friend of Gia, and I have been watching and listening to and tuning in to my morning coffee podcast for a while now. So I'm an avid listener, and I hate I missed today.
It's okay.
I was just so close.
Yeah,
You got to
I
get you
know.
on another time.
Yeah. Yes,
Absolutely.
we will. We do because Shakita is a wealth of knowledge, but also Shakita is a grant writer.
Oh,
So we're gonna have her back so she can talk about everything grants and maybe help a few of our viewers maybe obtain some grants.
Absolutely.
And also she's already got her in the works, Tonya. She's gonna be working on. We're gonna work on something for us, my morning coffee, in form of a grant. Something we got some stuff. That's why she's here. When I get with Shakita, we talk about girl stuff because I love her and everything. Everything about her, but also we always talk business, so
awesome.
and we had a good conversation yesterday at breakfast, and we're going to continue the conversation, but a lot of things are going to be happening for Shakita.
Right. It's money for them businesses.
Yes.
Listen, ladies,
Yes.
stay connected because we always have something to help your personal or professional life. We're going to get that money. And until next time, make sure you subscribe, you stay connected. Go ahead.
Also, Tonya, she's going to be in the near future, she's going to be a client of yours for PR. So that's why I said we got a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of stuff has been happening, but yeah.
A lot of green going on today.
Yeah.
Lots of green.
I like green money. That's what I see. We on point. On point. All right, ladies, you guys have a good rest of your day. Make sure you subscribe, stay connected, and we will talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.